want me to get some more? My name is Kim Passi, and I am a registered nurse. I work in a cancer center at one of the hospitals here in Eau Claire. I grew up outside of Augusta and went to high school in Augusta. I'm the oldest of 6, so I'm either the boss or the organizer, depending on how you look at it and who you ask. My parents and the 6 of us all grew up together out in the country. We were part of a Missouri Synod church and went to Sunday school, and we're very involved with things at church, at that church, Sunday school and vacation Bible school and all of the confirmation and things. That little rural church youth group was a big part of my life, and I have a brother who's a year younger than me, and that was just, they were another group of friends besides our friends in the middle school and high school. We had a whole other group of friends, and we played on a softball team for church, and it was just very much a part of growing up. God was just part of our life. We said table prayers before we ate and things like that. I remember they had the standard picture of Jesus, the old-fashioned one with the head. We had that was hanging in our living room, a very big one. So yeah, it was just part of our house. College, I think God was there, but I wasn't a regular church attender. And I knew God was there, but I wasn't spending a lot of time worshiping God or, partaking in activities like that. And then when I graduated from college, I did go to a church in the town where I had my first job. Again, not real regularly, but sometimes. And when I became engaged, my husband and I started looking for a church that would be our church home in Minneapolis while we were there, where we would be married and then bring our kids. I have a husband, Mark, and we've been married for 23, almost 24 years. And I have 2 daughters. Lauren is 22, and she's a senior at UW-Madison. And Elise is 19, and she's a sophomore at UW-Milwaukee.
I like the ones of you and Dad, they're cute.
I guess I didn't have one aha moment when people ask where you say, oh my gosh, I want to be a nurse. I just thought about, different careers and what I might like. I worked in our local little nursing home in the kitchen, so I kind of got to see a little bit of that while I was in high school. I guess I didn't have one moment, but I think faith in God wanted me to have a career where I was making a difference for other people. I work in a cancer center, so I work with patients who some we cure and they go on and they live great, healthy lives, and they go on and continue and do good things. And we do lose a lot of people as well. And I think that's hard to get to know people, and they become part of our cancer center because they come in all the time. We see them and you get to know them, and then sometimes they don't make it, and that's really hard. Especially, I find it's hardest to take care of patients who are my age, who have kids my age, because I just relate how that would be for my kids. So that's hard. And we, in this relatively small town, I do take care of friends sometimes. Right now we're treating 3 people who are my friends who I socialized with before. I think when things go wrong, when you think, why us? We're good people, we do good things, we volunteer, everything we're supposed to, why did this happen to us? I think it's a lot of questioning. Why are we going through this? Like, why is this happening? And God is there. It's just sometimes the harder times. I guess I quit a long time ago doing what I do, saying it's not fair, or saying why that person, you can say it, but you know that you're not really going to get an answer because God's not causing that pain and discomfort, but that God is there. Our patients, they and their families, I don't know if it's because they have cancer that they look at life in a different way, but they're just delightful. and they just know how to live life and get the best they can out of everything. So that's rewarding, and I think establishing that relationship with people that you see over and over again. I think I can look back at the different places that I've worked and remember, I used to work in pediatric bone marrow transplant when we lived in the cities, and I can recall several patients who made a difference, who I remember them and their parents and families. And yeah, now too at my job too, there are some that just stand out that I established a closer rapport with. I see God at work in many ways. A lot of our patients come to our cancer center with a very strong faith, and that's part of them. So when we're having hard conversations, that comes up, and it's because I'm Christian, I think it's easy to talk to people who are Christian also, or if we're having a hard conversation and things aren't going well, to ask them, you know, is God part of your life, or are you Christian? Do you believe in God? And sometimes that helps a little bit. Sometimes if a chaplain is seeing someone, it's a time, if I'm in taking care of things and doing things for the patient, it's just a time for me to stop sometimes and just fold my hands and pray while they pray. At where I work, have treated several members of Trinity, so that's been a special bond as well. I guess just to know them on a, you know, even if I don't know them from Trinity and we find out we're in the same place, it's just another extra connection.
The faithfulness of their God.
I think God is there in many ways. Everywhere. I think just looking around yesterday at church, it was so cold and the church was still full, and just seeing the joy that comes there, and in times of sorrow, how people support each other. In all of the programs, something for kids through adults and through seniors, there's just something for everyone, and I just see God at work in Trinity and branching out into the community and into other countries as well. And I guess I see our church as more of a diverse, happy place. I feel good when I leave. I go to church and I feel good when I'm walking out. My family's still, a lot of us are still in this area, and actually my parents are members of Trinity, and one of my brothers and his wife and kids are members of Trinity. We tend to all go to different services, which is kind of funny. We occasionally, you know, meet up for a service together, but when we moved here, we were looking for a church, and my kids, who are both in college now, were little. They were, I think, 3 and 5, and we tried several Lutheran churches. And we happened to go to Trinity on, it used to be Mother's Day when the kids' musical was, and we happened to go, and we didn't know it was the musical, and we got there late, and it was jam-packed, so we, you know, climbed up into the balcony and sat there, and my kids stood by the railing. At that time, our church was the old building, long, narrow, and they stood and watched that musical, and they were saying, this is where we want to go, this is where we want to be. So we joined and started, and I guess Trinity's just been a part of their lives and mine.
Perfect. Sure.
And I hope that God is part of their lives. I hope that they have that faith in Christianity wherever they go. I hope that their faith is part of their life. I hope that they're happy, I guess, more than anything. I hope they find jobs that are fulfilling, and that they find a partner in life someday, and that they have their own families, and just hope that they're happy, well-adjusted people. And I guess then I feel like I've done my job as a mother. And I hope that people remember me as a person who cared about other people, who did my best in my family and with friends and in my profession, that I cared about other people and was a good person, and that I did my best and made a difference somewhere along the way too. Things have been rocky in our world lately, and I just feel like looking ahead and hoping that things get better, and knowing that God is there. My family and friends just give me hope that things will be okay, that everything will be okay.